Hello, I am Dr. Strike the Sun, your BookTube Federation champion, here with the coveted golden shawl, ready to talk with you about Breakfast of Champions, book number 7 by Kurt Vonnegut. How does it hold up? Well, if you know anything about this series, you know that I'm not a fan of Kurt Vonnegut. So he's got a lot of work to do to climb up the adversities he's facing against my own personal tastes. Is he able to overcome? The answer is no. I'm going to tell you what happens, and then I'm going to complain a lot, okay? The best thing about this book is that I've read it, and now I can talk trash about it. If it's your favorite novel, well, I just want you to understand, I know that this book is a satire, but I can't stand it. It's about the story is the events leading up to a meeting, the meeting itself with Kilgore Trout, a science fiction author, and Dwayne Hoover, this guy who's going crazy, and then what happens after. Dwayne Hoover ultimately loses his mind because of a novel that Kilgore Trout wrote. Kilgore Trout loses a digit because of that, and the novel says that people are robots and nobody has free will except the creator of the universe, the reader of the novel, yeah. And then the narrator meets Kilgore Trout, makes him go all over the world. Make me young. Spoiler alert, by the way. Yeah, I really don't like this novel. It's fundamentally annoying. It's very didactic in its style and its approach. It's covering issues of suicide and free will, Kurt Vonnegut's favorite subject, mental illness, mental well-being, that kind of thing. And points at American culture and the horrors of it, whether it's governmental cruelty or economic cruelty, or if it's racism in America, consumerism, pollution in America, these kind of things. Poking at all these different things, and the story has exactly zero dramatic heft. Okay, no dramatic weight to anything, because the story is written in such a way that he's telling you this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, and pointing at all these different things to make some satirical observations, but none of it really adds up to anything. It's just joke after joke after joke after joke after joke after joke, and then these loosely interconnected things that lead the story along. Loosely connected events that lead the story along with these weird, wild, I guess, wacky characters that are supposed to be funny. There's a closeted transvestite. There's a sort of aggressively gay son of Hoover, of Dwayne, that works at a bar, and that's where they meet. And the problem with this in particular is that, okay, we're going joke, 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 joke. Could be fine, could be funny, if you could be invested in the characters at all, but there's no way to be, because they have nothing to them. They're just ideas. And, yeah, it's really bad in that way. And another thing, because it's, very, very much a story about, I'm going to teach you about this. And, the way it's written is literally like a guidebook to explain everything. Oh, you don't know what a woman's beaver is? Well, it looks like this. Oh, you don't know what a beaver is? Well, it's the part between the legs of a woman and this kind of thing. It's very immature humor too, not all the time, but very early on it's very immature, and then kind of sticks throughout here and there. I can't stand it. I really hate it. And the things that it's criticizing are, racism especially. It's just, or consumerism. It doesn't really matter which thing it's criticizing. It's just kind of like, that's not good. Let's move on to the next joke. There's no intellectual curiosity to anything, too, so the satire is extremely shallow. It's just a bunch of pointing fingers. That's not good. 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 Oh, I'm gonna criticize racism in America. And to do that, I'm gonna use the N-word as much as I can before my editor says stop or we're not publishing this, and then add twice as many anyway. And then actually have nothing to say because there's no intellectual curiosity to this novel or to anything he says. And in fact, the didactic approach of this novel is a prime example of who Kurt Vonnegut is as an author. You see it anyway in all of his other works. It just is so perfectly expressed in this particular prose style. His feeling that he has something to say. He as the one who has a moral lesson to teach, an intellectual lesson to teach, although he's certainly not a moral person, but that's okay. Not very many people are, even though they can still make great art, okay? That's perfectly fine. But the bankruptcy in his intellectual curiosity is an insult. Oh. N-word this, N-word that, N-word this, N-word that. People are robots, and the Japanese are yellow robots. They're fueled by rice, and the Vietnamese are yellow robots, and they're fueled by rice, because this is a satire, and I'm really intelligent, and you can learn from me that racism is bad by me trying to poke fun at it in the laziest way I can, because I used the N-word and called people yellow, and it's funny, right? That was my impression of Kurt Vonnegut trying to explain this book to his publisher. Don't read it. It's terrible.